And a big welcome to Chainlink Hackathon, to all the participants from our side. During today's sort of live stream and video, I'd like to sort of give you a sort of a quick rundown. What is some of the things you can build using NFTPort? And this is sort of a really one goal for NFTPort, which is to empower developers. And this is something sort of a very big pain that we felt ourselves, building with NFTs is really hard. And so, especially during hackathons where time is of essence, then this kind of like NFT infrastructure helps you build NFT application in hours is really useful. And just for context, we are today used by over 500 developers, all the way up to some really big players. And from a team side, we are built by a team of ex-Nate, NVIDIA, and Maniz, backed by some of the current founders, Polygon, Skypewise, etc. So let me jump straight to the talks. And everything is basically simple self-sign up. You can grab your API keys yourself. Alrighty, yeah. So I just gave you sort of a quick context. Why building NFT application is quite hard, or used to be quite hard, and sort of then code to really simplify that. So you as builders don't have to reinvent the wheel and build your own NFT infrastructure. So let's start. We do have this kind of like grouped some of the functionality in sort of like in 4 different ways. So one is like really simple and easy to use minting APIs. So it's just basically like Stripe call it APIs, REST APIs. And you can basically turn anything into an NFT for free, whether it be any kind of images, videos, etc., etc. And today we currently support Polygon, and it is upcoming. Then the same is also for deploying your own contracts, which are fully owned by you, and you can do that without learning and developing Solidity, Ipfs, Web3.js, etc. All of our files and assets that are linked with NFTs are stored in Ipfs, and I'll show you some of the cool things that you can do with those as well. Then we also have NFT data. So if you think about, let's say, NFT marketplaces, galleries, games, you name it, a lot of applications need to display NFT data. And again, you can basically pull all NFT data from Ethereum and Polygon with very simple API calls. And then there's sort of something that really sort of we want to help out the NFT community. And so one big problem that we see in the whole NFT space is, for example, NFTs being counterfeited. So one sold on one marketplace and basically stolen and try to be sold another one, which basically ends up in loss of customer trust and this kind of fraud. And so what we provide for those kind of use cases is one, for example, AI-enabled counterfeit detection. So you basically send in an NFT, contract ID, token ID, or even an image. Basically, we match that image against all existing NFT images that are currently on ETH and Polygon chain, and return very similar NFTs based on visual match. And there's also like basically you don't have to build your own search. Building a good search is quite hard to do, and also we provide like recommendation engine. And now let's jump right straight into the talks. So, for example, let's take let's say I want to get see it's Galactic Apes collection. And I want to get all the NFTs in this collection. So what I can do, a simple one, and I'll get all of the NFTs. Now, if you want to get specific details as well, then you can include metadata. And you get all data about those, every single NFT that is in that contract slash collection. We also have a little bit even more specific. So let's say I take the same galactic ape. So this is the B, and I want to get even more specific. Then we also basically provide some extra metadata about the file, height, width, file size, and we also provide cache file URL. And why that is important, because if you're building end user applications and displaying NFTs, then a lot of today's NFTs are hosted in Ipfs, which is a good thing. It's immutable and decentralized, but the problem of Ipfs a lot of times is it takes a lot of time to load the asset itself. And we know, let's say if anybody would have to wait 10 seconds on Instagram loading the image, then people would just churn. So I have every single asset that is linked with NFT cached as well. So you can basically use that cache image as well, or any other asset or file that is included. I also provide, let's say, getting all the NFTs of a specific account slash wallet. So let's say I take a known investor, DC investor, take his account address, and you can get back all the NFTs that account owns. Also for Polygon, this is as well. Now let's jump into minting. I'll just check if anybody has any questions meanwhile. Right, seems good. Now, basically, there's we provide this kind of like as a first step easy minting, which is like single API goal doing anything into an NFT. So let's make some kind of let's just play a funky game, which is quite regular in this space. Let's actually take URL. So just grabbing a regular URL, and I can add it to my request. Name. Logo. And any kind of address I want to send it to. So let's say I'll send it to him. Off it goes. So now I can check the transaction. And it's currently pending. So we can come back to it later. But yeah, as you saw, you can basically super easily turn anything into an NFT. You can do the same thing with uploading a file. And if you want to deploy your own contracts, which you fully own, and basically customize the minting, then we also have a we support also that, so you can deploy your own contract. So let's say self-fast owner. Now the contract has been deployed. And again, check transaction hash. The one. Let's see if that is the bending. Righty, so meanwhile, while those are probably still bending, we can check back soon. But after you deploy your own contract, you can start, go to the next step, which is uploading your file to Ipfs. So let's say I want to take the same logo that I had here. So this one. And I want to mint that NFT to my own deploy contract now. So what I can do is that one, I'll upload it to Ipfs. I can grab the Ipfs URL from here. Next, what I can do is upload metadata to Ipfs. Now I'll add Ipfs URL that I just uploaded in the previous request. And now the metadata has been uploaded to Ipfs as well, and we can grab the metadata URI. See if anything. All right, it seems there's some problem with transactions at the moment. Anyhow, once we grab the metadata URI from here, then we can proceed to customizable minting, where we can add the contract address, which was deployed previously. So once that would actually go through, then we would have cut them back the contract address. Let's see. So I would have added the contract address here. The metadata URI would be the one that I just got from the previous request. And mint to address could be again like I can mint it to my own account, or I could basically mint it to anybody's other wallet as well. But let's see if I can actually see all of my minted NFTs and deploy contracts as well. Let's see if I can actually. It has already come through. Nope. Alrighty. So it does seem there's either something. All right. So the minting has gone through. Either something error on our side, it's slow, or the Polygon side. Alrighty. So I can now grab the. Right. The contract. I can add this contract here. Set up correct metadata URI, mint to address, and I guess one important aspect which I didn't show previously was in the upload metadata to Ipfs. There's a lot of different customizations that are possible. So, for example, I can upload a video or any other kind of animation. I can also add custom fields, such as, let's say, YouTube URL, etc. And I can also include attributes, so which will basically show up on NFT marketplaces as this kind of like rarities, etc. Let's send the request. So that would be. Now it seems like it has sped up, and we can actually see that the contract is as I specified, Chainlink hackathon contract, and the NFT was now minted here. And maybe let's see. OpenSea the exact. Right, so OpenSea usually takes like 3 to 4 or 5 minutes until OpenSea gets all of the data. See if there's any questions. Already, yeah. So how can we free and hash money? So I'll take it first. So basically, from the payment side, it is free for the community, and we're already making money through basically enterprise clients. And long term, we will also progressively decentralize ourselves, basically an infrastructure provider, just like Chainlink, Filecoin, etc. So eventually, everybody can run their own NFTPort infrastructure. And until then, it is everything is basically from the minting side. The data, getting the data is free. So we do have, let's say, for minting, 1,000 NFTs free per chain, but we can easily increase them. So it is sort of a limit to avoid us being DDoSed. And we're also officially in partnership with Polygon as well. It's kind of like we're aiming to incentivize all the builders out there. And the blockchain providers are available. So for getting the NFT data, we support ETH and Polygon. For getting the ownership, we also have Tezos endpoint at the moment. For minting, we started off with Polygon, and we are at the moment adding Ethereum. And from the next chains, we haven't sort of released public roadmap on those, but definitely like other top layer ones, and also layer 2s as well on ETH. Is possibly retrieve information about previous owners and previous purchases. And so this is something that we are currently working on, basically getting all of the transactional data, meaning pricing data from on-chain, and we expect it to sort of launch it in the next 1 to 2 weeks. NFTPort pays for our transaction. Yes, that's a sort of short answer about that one, indeed. Let's say if we have. Yep, now it shows up as well. You can. It seems I made a typo here as well, but this is the contract has been fully deployed, and NFT has been fully minted, as you can see. Now, if we go to the next sort of what I started with was also sort of the enhanced APIs, where you can sort of get out of the box multi-chain NFT search. So let's say you wanna, let's see if there's any NFTs with Chainlink. You can select chains here as well, Polygon, Ethereum, civil within all. And we get back soon a lot of results. So basically, we search here in this endpoint by from the name and description, and sort of like building search, especially like from database wise, indexing, etc., etc. There's a lot of work. So the aim is to actually abstract away a lot of the complexity here as well for the search. Now we do the recommendations, sort of AI. And if you think about like a lot of, if you watch Netflix or browse on Amazon, a lot of revenue, how they make is through their recommendation engine. And this is something that currently we see sort of missing from the whole NFT ecosystem. And this is something we bring to the table. And let's say, maybe even the best way how to actually illustrate all of those three endpoints here, recommendation engine and search and duplicate detection, is something called Tangible. So this has been built with NFTPort, and it actually uses all of those three endpoints, meaning search, recommendation AI, and duplicate detection. And so if we again for Chainlink, with just a regular search, then we, all right, seems a lot of cars. Those are all the results that the Chainlink string has been found in the text name or the description. Now, if you want to actually search by, let's say, this is basically the sort of think about like Google reverse image search, and it finds images based on its sort of semantics. Let's see if it finds anything with Vitalik. All right, so since Vitalik has a lot of hats, maybe like yeah. And you can also basically upload an image here or insert an image URL as well. And this is something that can also be used basically for recommendations. So let's say I like specific NFTs and specific art, and it's now possible to actually recommend similar NFTs based on the sort of visual characteristics of the NFTs to the user. Let's now open up for example, show you the counterfeit detection. So we can 397 and also filter out the same contract, so it doesn't show results from the same contract. Probably take a bit of time because it is basically like a one big ass neural network that is behind that one. Hopefully it works. See if there are any questions meanwhile. So OpenSea listing is basically, if there's either ETH NFT or Polygon NFT minted, then OpenSea picks them up both automatically. And you can, they also provide some specific filters. So you can filter by the chain here as well. All right, so the results are now back. And as you can see, because CryptoPunks are the most known NFT collection, and there's a lot of like duplicates of them, and a lot of, I even personally know, not with CryptoPunks, but Bored Ape Yacht Club, a friend of mine got frauded because he thought he was buying one, but it was actually a duplicate or sort of a fraud collection. And here we can sort of in the results see all of the sort of CryptoPunk either it's duplicates, derivatives, counterfeits. It's sort of up to the users and developers to decide how they want to sort of frame it and implement it. Some other, how to list user NFTs from defined collection. So basically, at the moment, we support getting all NFTs owned by an account. I briefly share that one as well. So let's say getting all of the NFTs that this investor owns. And I guess the specific question was even how to filter them down by specific collection. So we don't have that functionality yet, but it has been asked previously as well. And we are actually adding that in the next following days. Yeah, I guess this is the same one. Yeah, so just as a sort of a short recap, sort of super easy to now build NFT products. Either get all NFT data, minting NFTs, and also sort of enhancing your own products with search recommendations, AI, and duplicate detection AI. This, if there's any more questions, or it's in nope. And just as a final one, you can self-sign up on homepage. Super easy. The API is sent your own email, and you can start hacking in a few minutes. And from our side, thank you. We hope you have a successful hackathon, and we're also super active on Discord. So just come check up if you have any questions. You want to share ideas on what to build, etc., then we're more than happy to help. All right, happy building it.